Hello my loves, Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts and welcome back to my channel, and I hope you're excited for today's video. We are going on a deep dive through the wide world of Tunisian crochet hooks. The tools that we use in Tunisian crochet are really what set us apart from traditional crochet or knitting, but unfortunately a lot of our hooks are not sold in stores, so it's a little difficult to try those hooks before you buy them. And with many of these sets costing well over $100, some even close to $200, it's hard to justify spending that kind of money without testing them out. Having a quality set of hooks makes a huge difference to your Tunisian crochet experience, and that shouldn't be left up to chance. So I dove deep into my stash and pulled out every single Tunisian crochet hook that I have to give you some insight beyond what's listed in the product descriptions. There are going to be a lot of hooks reviewed in this video, so make sure you top off your coffee before we get started. Now if that sounds like a good time, make sure you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel, and be sure to stick around to the very end. I've got a special secret just for you. Speaking of a refill, Mama's gonna need one to give some love to our Cup of Caffeine sponsor. I had my cup of coffee this morning while I was finishing off the script for this video, and that is why she's empty. So I'll be dedicating my next cup of coffee to our sponsor, who is Robin Bailey. And when donating, Robin said, "Hi Tony, I'm happily donating because I absolutely love your YouTube tutorials on crocheting. I just started crocheting this year and you are the best at explaining all things crochet. The main reason I'm donating is because of your videos. I finally tackled that magic ring beast, and I am so excited for you, Robin." That magic ring has been tricky for a lot of people for a long time. I actually used to do my magic ring completely differently. It was a very convoluted series of twists and wraps, and now I've got this new system and I'm glad it works for you as well. Now if you like my videos and want to support my channel, buy me a coffee. Who knows, I might shout you out in the next one. So I'm gonna break this video up into a few different categories. We're gonna start with straight hooks, then we're gonna move to corded hooks, then we'll talk about interchangeable hooks, so those that I've purchased outside of a set, and then we'll talk interchangeable sets. Now these reviews are in no particular order, it's just about how I grabbed them out of my basket as I was doing the review. You can head down to the description where I'll have links to all of these hooks right there, and now if you're ready, let's talk Tunisian crochet hooks. The one and only straight hooks that I have in my collection are these ones from Furls, and I'm not even gonna front, babes. These things are gorgeous. These hooks debuted in 2019 and they've been a hot commodity ever since. They're a really good length for smaller projects, and Furls now offers this gorgeous leather case that you can purchase separately, which I think is a really nice touch. My biggest gripe with these hooks has to be the hook heads and the inconsistency between the sizes. So the smaller hooks tend to have these rounded hook heads, while the larger hooks have these gorgeous pointy hook heads. In my opinion, they should all be pointy because that's what you need to really grab onto those loops in Tunisian crochet. These hooks have been sold out for quite a while, and it has me hoping that they're kind of revamping the whole line, so fingers crossed we'll get consistent hook heads on the next batch. So my second gripe with these hooks has to be the price, right? So they're $34 to $38 a piece, and you buy them individually. Now I am no stranger to paying for luxury, but this feels excessive even for these hooks. Yes, they're pretty. They have multiple woods, gorgeous designs, and this really pretty stopper at the end. But when it comes down to it, these are straight Tunisian crochet hooks, and they're only gonna get you so far. These are really nice hooks for collectors like me, but the everyday stitcher does not need these. I'm gonna give these 6 out of 10 hooks. My Two Ladies Knitting is a new to me company, so when they slid into my inbox back in June, I was very intrigued. They sent me their adjustable Tunisian crochet hook set, which includes a 6mm, an 8mm, and a 10mm hook in this gorgeous blue felt case. Their claim to fame is their patented sliding toggle, which allows you to adjust the length of the cord based on your project. The hook itself is wildly smooth, the hook head is literally perfect, and the hook itself is very long, which helps a lot with control and precision while you're stitching. The attached cord swivels without resistance, making this one of my favorite new hooks in the collection. There's not much negative to say about these hooks. You get 3 hooks for $98, and I get that's a little bit steep, but this is a boutique company, so I'll give them some leeway on the price. My only gripe is that as pretty as the case is, it doesn't do much for protecting the gorgeous hooks inside. I'd love to see something a little more structural, maybe padded on the next iteration variation of the case, but with that aside, I will happily give this set 7 out of 10 hooks. Here we have the ChiaoGoo Q hook. It's got that classic ChiaoGoo craftsmanship we've all come to know and love. The wood is high quality and smooth to the touch. We get seamless joins between the hook and the cord, and the hook head is an ideal hybrid with a rounded point. There's a hollow plastic tube for the cord, and it finishes with a nice heavy wooden stopper. It's an all-in-one unit that is ready for your chunkiest yarns, and the only drawback is that darn cord. I swear, ChiaoGoo does great at everything, but I feel like they kind of dropped the ball here. It's this thick, heavy plastic tube that kind of flops around while you're stitching, and it barely bends, but that heavy wooden stopper at the end threatens to take my dog's eye out. And aside from that, the cord is really short. Unfortunately, we've got this gorgeous Q hook that can accommodate those chunky yarns, but I can't even get a blanket on it. To get me to use this hook more, that cord would need to be twice as long, if not longer, and made of a completely different material. So as much as it breaks my heart, I do have to give this 6 out of 10 hooks for a rating. Now we're moving on to interchangeable hooks. So these are hooks that I've purchased individually, but some of them do come in sets, and I'll be sure to mention that as we go through the reviews. We're gonna start this segment with Knitter's Pride ginger hooks, which I just realized I don't use nearly enough. Visually, these hooks take the cake. They have this gorgeous wood grain to them that just is mesmerizing, and then when you touch them, they are buttery smooth. The pointy hook head and the hybrid shape make these top notch for me. There's not much of a downside to these hooks, but if I can be a little bit nitpicky, I am annoyed that there is no metric measurement on the hooks. I'm still not sure why we have 3 different ways to identify the size of a crochet hook, but I have always gravitated toward the metric measurement, especially since that is going to be consistent across brands. I never memorized the US measurements for sizing, but I guess I'll get past it. These hooks are so pretty, they make it worth it. So I am giving these hooks my first 10 out of 10 rating in this review, but it won't be the last. I did purchase my gingers individually from a local yarn store because as nice as the set is, it has a lot of unusable sizes for me. So I purchased sizes 5mm all the way up through 12mm for my stash. Now onto a brand that you might not have heard of just yet. These are the Diat Craft Black Nickel Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet hooks. Now these are the first metal Tunisian crochet hooks that I ever tried, and they stitch like an absolute dream. They have this really sleek look to them, both the matte and the shiny version. And the point on this is pointing, honey, so I really need to be careful not to stab myself, but it does make for effortless stitching. They're lightweight and you don't need a tool to attach the cords. Now on the downside, Diat Craft uses a proprietary non-swivel cord, and it is a pain in my butt. Also, there's no indication of the size of the hook on the hook itself, so I have to pull out my gauge ruler every time I want to use these. And one of the biggest downsides to these hooks is that they're no longer available. And I mean like not even mentioned on the website at all. Metal Tunisian crochet hooks are already really hard to come by, so it was a bit of a letdown when I was recording this to find that this one set of hooks that I really like, you can't even get anymore. So as much as I love these hooks, unfortunately I have to give them a 6 out of 10 hook rating. There is a lot of improvement though if Tom, the owner of Diat Craft, ever decides to reintroduce these hooks. Next, let's move on to the Knit Pro trends. And just to clarify, Knit Pro is the parent company of Knitter's Pride. So if you see a lot of similarities between their styles of hooks, that's why. Knit Pro trends are made from a firm but flexible plastic that's light in the hand. They're super cute and they kind of remind me of gummy bears, especially since each size is a different color. They're smooth all around and they don't have any of those bumpy seams like we sometimes see with plastic hooks. My biggest gripe with these hooks is the very intense plastic drag that it puts on the yarn. Like, it is intense. The hooks themselves feel really smooth to the touch when you just touch them with your hands, but as soon as they touch yarn, they hold on for dear life. I could literally feel myself pulling the hook through each of my stitches, and I just know that that's gonna manifest in pain in my joints and hands. These hooks need some kind of additional coating or something to make them smoother while you're actually stitching. I can only give these a 6 out of 10 hook rating for now. It'll probably take a little bit more practice because based on the reviews online, a lot of people like these hooks. And while I do like that these hooks are sold individually, they're not readily available here in the States, so there's only a few people selling them and they've really jacked up the price. If you want to get these, I recommend skipping Amazon altogether and go to a website called yarnplaza.com. They have international shipping and these hooks will end up costing you about $4.30 a piece. Okay, so I'm gonna throw another indie hook making brand at you. This is Catch Hooks. These are the second metal Tunisian crochet hooks I ever tried and the first ones I ever fell in love with. They're made from a lightweight, silky smooth aluminum and boast an ideal hybrid hook head that leans more towards the tapered side. All Catch hooks are custom made, so I did request mine to have a little bit of a thumb rest and it just changed my life. You can also customize whether these will have a Chow or a Knitter's Pride connection, and I went Chow. So the biggest downside to these hooks isn't even the hooks themselves, it's the ordering process. This is a boutique company and they make you purchase your hooks by filling out a Google form that's attached to their Instagram account. I was never able to figure out the Google form, so I just DM'd the owner directly and we were able to sort out my order that way, so I'd recommend the same for you. As tedious as the ordering process was, these hooks were totally worth it, even if they had to come all the way from Australia. At about $25 a piece for a custom made hook, totally worth it to me. I'm gonna give these ones 9 out of 10 hooks for a rating. Last but not least, we're getting into interchangeable Tunisian crochet hooks sets. So these are collections of hooks that also come with additional accessories and sometimes notions. So let's kick this section off with the Knit Pro Bamboo Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet Hooks. This set has 8 hooks total, ranging from 3.5mm up to 8mm, and it includes the elusive 7mm hook. The bamboo hooks are lightweight and taper down into a gold connection for the cord. This is a nice no frills set that is great for beginners that aren't quite ready to break the bank. Now, one thing that you're gonna hear repeated a lot in this segment of this video is how much I hate Knit Pro and Knitter's Pride cords. They are so stiff when they come out of the package, and yes, I know you can dip them in some warm water, but why do I have to do that? I already paid for the hooks. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I expect more from such an established brand. Now back to these hooks specifically, another downside is that the size of the hook is printed on the hook and it is very obvious that it's gonna wear off over time. And my final gripe is that the hook head from the tip down to the chin is really long and it interrupts my crochet flow, and I'm sure I could get acclimated to it over time, but I just don't want to. At less than $50 for the entire set on Amazon, they're a pretty good buy and they have really good reviews. I think it's just a personal preference that these don't work for me, so I do have to give them a 5 out of 10 hook rating. And now onto the prettiest hooks in the entire bunch. These are We Crochet's Radiant Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet Hook Sets. And we can all see why these win prettiest in show. Just look at them. That laminated birch is a showstopper. These hooks are incredibly smooth and they have a very subtle thumb rest, which is a really big game changer for these simple hooks. I also love how deep the throat is because it makes sure I can grab my yarn without fail every time. But sadly, that is where the niceties end, because as you can already tell, the point on these hooks just never showed up for work. The point on these hooks is so rounded that it makes it almost impossible to get under the loops of my Tunisian crochet stitches without additional help from my thumb. Like I said, I love a good groove when you get into Tunisian crochet. It's one of the selling points for this craft for me, and when I have a tool that interrupts that groove, I just can't use it. And on top of that, these hooks come in this really unsightly plastic case. Like, I like that it's a clear acrylic, but it's very, very stiff. The pockets don't want to move and the snaps don't want to snap. And finally, these hooks are produced by Knitter's Pride, Knit Pro, that whole brand, so you get their cords, which you know how I feel about that. Unfortunately, Tunisian crochet hooks cannot stand on good looks alone, so I have to give this set 4 out of 10 hooks. You can find them for a little under $50 on We Crochet's website. Next up are the Vicky Howell Aqua Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet Hooks. These green blue beauties come with 9 total hooks in the set, including sizes 9mm, 10mm, and 12mm, giving us a more usable collection of sizes. Produced by Knitter's Pride, these hooks are basically the gingers with a very nice dye job. They come in a sturdy carrying case that's great for traveling. The pointy hook head glides through the stitches, and the gold accents are a really cute cherry on top. And here we go again with the Knitter's Pride cords. I mean, at least they're consistent, right? And maybe I'm being a little bit harsh about the cords, but once you've used the alternatives that are on the market, you'll wonder why such an established brand sticks with such a subpar product. Another downside to this set is that the size of the hook is just etched onto the side, and it's a little tricky to read as is, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna rub off over time. I really like this set, so I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 hooks. Now, unfortunately, pretty much all of Vicky Howell's branded tools are sold out on her website, including these hooks. I can't tell how long everything's been sold out, but there's no indication that things are coming back, but you can sign up to be emailed when they restock. So we have arrived at one of my absolute favorite hook sets. This is the Tulip Carry T Interchangeable Bamboo Tunisian Crochet hooks. As you can tell, my original set is incredibly well loved, to say the least. It was one of the first interchangeable sets I bought, and it changed my life. Now, Tulip recently revamped the set and gifted me one at H&H earlier this year. This review is my first time testing the new hooks, and they did not disappoint. The hooks themselves are an unassuming bamboo, lightweight with no branding other than the hook size on the tool. Now, this is one of those few sets that come with swivel cords, and they attach without a key. Hallelujah. They stitch incredibly well, and they feel great in my hands. So the biggest drawback with these crochet hooks is their availability. Tulip needles and notions are not hard to find here in the States, but for some reason this set is incredibly elusive. I did find this set on Amazon for right around $200, and some sets on eBay and a website called officesupply.com for a little bit less than that. But unfortunately, with the revamp to this new packaging, the price has gone up on these hooks. So barring the really high price tag and the difficult availability, I still really adore these hooks, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 hook rating. I think you'll love them too once you can get your hands on them. Another set that arrived dressed for the party is the Luca Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet hooks. This set includes a whopping 12 hooks that are sized all the way up to 11.5 millimeter. These hooks are made from coated driftwood, and they are creamy smooth. The wood hook tapers into a metal connector for the cords, which is oddly reminiscent to Knitter's Pride cords. Nevertheless, it's a stunning and unique set, perfect for gifts, and they stitch really well. So one of the things that makes these hooks really unique is the shape of the hook head. It's actually quite short from the tip down to the chin, which takes a little bit of getting used to. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time with these hooks. I have a lot of hooks to choose from, but this little test did remind me how nice these hooks are. The biggest downside, of course, is going to be the cords. Now, I can neither confirm nor deny that these are produced by Knitter's Pride, but they're using Knitter's Pride cords, and they are driving me up the wall. Even for this test, I just had to switch to my mindful cords. I can't use them anymore. Now, I do believe it is not the hook's fault that they got saddled with these awful cords, so I'm still going to give them an 8 out of 10 hook rating. The gray set that I have is a little tricky to come by, but you can get the gorgeous indigo blue set off of Amazon for about 150 bucks. Perfect hooks don't have to be complicated, and Clover proved that with their Takumi Interchangeable Bamboo set. Now, I got these hooks back when Michaels used to offer their 50% off coupon, and I should have gone back and gotten every single set they had. This very simple set comes with 9 hooks that are sized up to 8 millimeter, which is pretty standard for Tunisian crochet hook sets. It comes in a convenient roll-up case, and they have amazing cords. They're lightweight clear plastic, they swivel, and you don't need any tools to attach them. Oh, be still my heart. For the first time ever, I have 0 criticisms for a Tunisian crochet hook set. To me, these are perfect. But I guess everybody could use a little improvement. If I were to improve this set, I would include a pocket or maybe a pouch for notions like tapestry needles and scissors, and I would also adjust the sizes. This set is almost perfect. If they would just go from 5 millimeter up to 12 millimeter, oh, I would be so happy. Another thing to love about these hooks is that they stay on sale. Now, Amazon has them listed for $140, but at the time of filming this, they were only $72. And every time I look these hooks up, they're somewhere between 45 and 55% off. Now, surprise, surprise, I am giving this set a 10 out of 10 hook rating. What can I say? I love them. Another hook set that I am pretty enamored with is the Knitter's Pride Symphony Dreams set. Now, this one has 8 hooks sized up to 8 millimeter. I'm especially especially fond of the gorgeous color palette. These hooks are also made from laminated birch, and that gorgeous wood grain shows through in each of the different colors. They have the iconic Knitter's Pride hook head, and they taper down into a lovely silver connection. I originally purchased these hooks as a set, but you can purchase them individually, and that's how I ended up with some of the extended sizes. So like the We Crochet set, these came in that icky plastic case, so I took them out of the case and I purchased a separate case for them. They also come with those Knitter's Pride cords, so I swapped them out for my Mindful cords. Same old, same old. The biggest issue I found with these hooks is there is some inconsistency in the shape of the hook heads. Some of them are a little bit more rounded, some of them are more pointy. I recommend, if you can, purchase these in person, or if you buy them online, get them as a full set and cross your fingers. So great hook heads, smooth stitching, cute to boot. I'm easily gonna give these an 8 out of 10 hook rating, and I can't wait to use them some more. So now for the hooks that made me fall in love with Tunisian crochet. These are the Denise Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet hooks. So I purchased my set of the clamshell case back in 2020, and I'm sure you can smell the nostalgia through the screen. So the Denise brand did update the packaging to something a little bit more compact earlier this year. The new set has 12 sturdy plastic hooks that range in size up to 15 millimeter in a lovely organic cotton case. You get to choose from 3 different color options, and the kit is gonna set you back $115. Now my favorite thing about this set is the twist and lock feature for attaching the cords. You just insert them together, twist it, and that cord is going nowhere. Now my biggest complaint about the Denise hooks, which I have talked about from the beginning, is the length of the hooks. They don't even meet 5 inches long, and that is pretty tough for a girl with big hands like me. Now I've made it work before, but my hands were not happy, and I just don't want to keep doing that. Also, as nice as that twist and lock feature is, that cord goes nowhere, which means it does not swivel, which is a little bit frustrating because it's a thick plastic and it's not very pliable. If they would just thin out the plastic and make those cords swivel, they'd be absolutely perfect. The Denise hooks will always hold a special place in my heart, so I am giving them an 8 out of 10 hook rating. They're really great for what they are, but a few small tweaks would take them over the top. Now, if you ask me about my desert island, could only ever use these forever and ever and ever hook set, I would have to say the ChiaoGoo T-Spin interchangeables. Now, if you've ever tried ChiaoGoo tools before, you know that their craftsmanship is consistent and amazing across products, and it extends to their crochet hooks. Thank God. The set includes 11 sizes and go up to 10 millimeters. They're a very simple, lightweight bamboo, and they have the size etched into the side. I love that they're a true inline shape, and the rounded tip is just pointy enough to grab every loop every time. The hook glides like it's coated, but it's not. That's just how good ChiaoGoo is. So the one annoying thing about these hooks is the cords, but I've got a different gripe than I have with Knitter's Pride. Now, if you tried ChiaoGoo tools before, you know that their smaller tools have a smaller connection that go to their smaller cords, where their larger tools have a larger connection that go to large cords. But this set includes 4 adapters that you can put on those larger tools to make sure that they can use smaller cords. So why not just put smaller connections on everything so we can use the smaller cords throughout? But you know, it's just me, just one girl on the internet crying about cords. And besides that, the set comes with fixed cords, so just make sure you budget to get the swivel cords because you're gonna want those. Now, even though these are my absolute favorite hooks, I do have to give them an 8 out of 10 hook rating. If they would just fix that cord issue, I'd be happy to reevaluate. One of my newer acquisitions has been the Sorella Metal Interchangeable Tunisian Crochet hooks. The Sorella Yarn Company is a boutique yarn dyeing company that recently partnered with Knitter's Pride for a collection of tools, including knitting needles, crochet hooks, and Tunisian crochet hooks. In the set, you're gonna get 9 brushed aluminum hooks that are sized up to 8 millimeter. Now, let's be honest, these are basically Susan Bates hooks with an interchangeable connection, but isn't that kind of what we all wanted? And it also helps that these are gorgeous. You know your girl loves a gold moment. These hooks also have a thumb rest, and they have the size embossed right under the thumb, but I promise you it does not irritate while you're stitching. And they might not look like it, but the point on these are at a 10 on the pointy scale, so be careful not to stab yourself. Now, these do come with Knitter's Pride cords, but I'm not gonna harp on that right now. I'm just gonna go straight to using my Mindful cords. Sorella did recently introduce swivel cords, which I purchased and promptly lost, but I'm just gonna go back to my Mindful cords anyway. And one tiny drawback that I will mention about this set is the case. Now, I do love the pink gingham, and it's supposed to be reminiscent of the wallpaper in her office, but unfortunately, the woven linen look of this does catch every cat hair and every errant piece of dust. So I'm very concerned about what this case is gonna look like in a few years. So the Homie Sewella gets an 8 out of 10 hook rating. You can purchase these hooks exclusively from Sewella's website, but they are currently sold out. I'm not sure when they're coming back, but you can request to be notified by email when there's a restock. We're gonna bring this review on home with a look at the Lantern Moon Bequest Tunisian Crochet hooks. Now, Lantern Moon produced fine fiber tools for years before they went under, and then they were acquired by Knitter's Pride. Knitter's Pride re-debuted the brand in 2022, and they are back and better than ever. Their Bequest set includes 6 gorgeous ebony wood hooks with gold accents. Every part of this set is meticulously designed, from the lovely branded keys to the wood stopper. But this set doesn't just rely on its good looks. One row of stitching is gonna have you hooked, I guarantee it. They glide effortlessly and the hook head feels like it's moving on its own. So while the keys in this are very pretty, I have broken 2 of them by almost over tightening my cords. So I do hold the keys a little bit differently while I tighten them, but I just wanna mention that just so you know that they are a little delicate. Also, I bought 2 sets of these hooks. One back in February of 2022, then I thought I lost it, so I bought another one in June, but I found them, I have them both now. Now, based on the listing, they have this liquid silk coating on them that's supposed to make them really, really smooth. Now, my set from February, absolutely like that. They are smooth as silk, but the ones I got in June, not quite as smooth. They just kind of feel like a really nice wood. And I'm really, really hoping that's a fluke, that is just the set that I got, but just keep an eye out for that. And if your hooks don't feel as smooth as they should, talk to whoever you bought them from. The Lantern Moon Bequest Tunisian Crochet hooks are just as gorgeous to stitch with as they are to look at, so I'm gonna give them a 9 out of 10 hook rating. So that video was a doozy, I know, but it just goes to show how popular Tunisian crochet has become. Big brands as well as boutique shops are starting to see the value in producing tools for us. Now, if you're interested in any of the tools that I mentioned, make sure you go down to the description and find a link to each of them. All right, honeybees, now come close because I've got a very special secret to share with you. Okay, so here's the secret. I am currently in cahoots with one of my favorite yarn brands to come up with my own set of Tunisian crochet hooks. I know, I am so excited about this too. Now, we are starting the design process completely from scratch and I need your input. So if you were to design the absolute best set of Tunisian crochet hooks, what would they look like? What material would they be made of? What sizes would they include? What would the case be like? What would the cord connection be like? Now, I'm shooting for the moon here, so no idea is too big. I'll take your recommendations back to my partners and see what we can come up with. And if you have recommendations of what your ideal traditional crochet hook set would look like, I'll take those too. Alrighty, my loves, we're gonna wrap it up right here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for even more crochet goodness. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.